Texas Polunsky Unit, the maximum security prison few know about. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you dare, because this story, it's the kind that keeps you up at night, replaying every detail, wondering how something like this could ever happen in the real world. The storm had rolled over Livingston, Texas, like a warning. Thick clouds pressed low over the trees, lightning cracking across the sky, as if the heavens themselves were splitting open. At 2:14 a.m., Deputy Marshal Cole Ramsey stood ankle-deep in mud beside an abandoned pickup truck on Farm Road 350. Its driver's side door hung open. The engine was still warm, and in the passenger seat lay a folded orange jumpsuit, stamped with one chilling word: Polunsky. Cole knew exactly what that meant. Polunsky Unit wasn't just any prison. It was where Texas kept the inmates they feared most. Men locked down 23 hours a day. Men who did not escape. Men who could not escape. But tonight, someone had. The missing inmate's name was Daniel Heller, serving a life sentence for a home invasion that ended with one man dead and a woman barely surviving. Heller had been quiet, compliant, and eerily calm during his trial. The kind of calm that sits like ice beneath the skin. But he wasn't supposed to be here, miles from the prison, during a thunderstorm, with his jumpsuit abandoned like shed skin. Cole scanned the tree line with his flashlight. The beam caught something, boot prints leading off into the darkness, sinking deep, the stride uneven, as if whoever made them was injured or carrying something heavy. Within an hour, the woods were crawling with officers. Helicopters churned the sky, and Polunsky officials insisted over and over again that an escape was logistically impossible. But the truck, the footprints, and the missing inmate told a different story. As Cole pushed deeper into the woods, the rain softened to a mist. The silence felt unnatural, almost forced. Then he saw it, a faint glow through the pines. A cabin. One he didn't remember seeing on county maps. He signaled the others to stay back and approached slowly, hand resting on his holster. The window was cracked open, and he could hear something inside, not voices humming. A low mechanical hum, steady and rhythmic. When he pushed the door open, the smell of bleach hit him like a slap. The room was empty except for a single metal table. On it lay a file, paper clipped thick. Polunsky Unit letterhead on every page. And on the top, Inmate Behavioral Modification Program, level red access only. Cole flipped it open. The first page was a report. Not on Daniel Heller, but on psychological experiments conducted inside the unit. Methods of isolation. Prolonged sensory deprivation. Cognitive stress induction. It read like something between a research paper and a confession. Then Cole reached the last page and froze, because the signature at the bottom belonged not to a warden, not to a psychologist, but to someone who should never have had their hands on inmates in the first place. Someone tied directly to Heller's original case. Someone who should have never been anywhere near the prison. Lightning flashed. Thunder cracked. And footsteps sounded outside. Soft, slow, deliberate. Cole drew his weapon and turned toward the door. But before he could shout a warning, the cabin lights flickered once, then died. The hum stopped. The footsteps stopped. And in the darkness, a voice whispered from somewhere behind him. Low, calm, and terrifyingly familiar. You shouldn't have come here, Deputy. The darkness inside the cabin felt alive, swallowing every sound except the storm outside. Cole kept his breathing steady, his weapon raised, trying to pinpoint the source of the voice. But the room was pitch black, the air suddenly colder. Daniel Heller, Cole said quietly. Step into the light. A faint rustle came from the far corner, followed by the sharp scent of wet soil. Then the lights flickered back on just for a second, long enough for Cole to see what he'd missed before. The footprints on the cabin floor weren't fresh. They weren't even mud. They were dried blood. The lights died again. Cole stepped back, spine hitting the doorframe, gun steady. He knew better than to fire blind. You're injured, he said. You need medical attention. A low laugh.
Calm.
Too calm. I'm not the one you should be worried about. Cole's finger tightened on the trigger, but the next flash of lightning showed the corner was empty. Nothing moved. The voice had come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Then the door slammed from behind him, not by human hands but by the wind, violent, sudden. The storm roared through the cracks of the cabin. Cole spun, pushed the door open again, and the moment he stepped onto the porch, the voice vanished. The woods were silent. Too silent. He swept the flashlight across the trees. That's when he saw a figure running, fast, limping, clutching something metallic. Cole bolted after them, branches whipping his face, rain soaking through his jacket. The mud sucked at his boots, but adrenaline kept him moving.
Stop.
Sheriff's Department. The figure didn't slow. Cole tackled the person to the ground, pinning an arm back. The man snarled in pain. I'm not Heller. I'm not Heller. Cole froze. The face staring up at him wasn't the escaped inmate. It was a Polunsky correctional officer. Officer Tanner Graves. Blood soaked his uniform, spreading from a deep gash across his ribs. Cole pressed a hand to the wound. You need help. What happened? Where's Heller? Graves coughed, eyes wide with panic. You don't understand. Heller isn't escaping. He grabbed Cole's sleeve with shaking fingers.
He was released.
Cole felt ice form in his stomach. Released? By who? Graves swallowed hard.
People inside.
People who were running things no one was supposed to know about. Cole thought of the file. Level red. Unauthorized programs. The signature. Graves continued, voice trembling. Heller wasn't like the others. They tested things on him, pushed him past breaking. Then one day, they said the project was shutting down, and instead of transferring him, they let him out. Off the books. No record. No trace. Cole tried to process it.
Why?
Why release a violent inmate? What were they hiding? Graves grabbed Cole's wrist, his eyes desperate. He wasn't violent before they got their hands on him.
He is now.
And he's looking for the people responsible. A twig snapped behind them. Cole's instincts kicked in. He spun around, gun raised. A shadow moved between the trees, slow, steady, deliberate. A silhouette shaped like a man, but too still, too calm for someone fleeing in the rain. The figure stepped forward. Lightning lit the forest. Daniel Heller stood 20 yards away, drenched, unblinking, his expression unreadable. In his hand was a thin metal object reflecting pale blue beneath the storm. A Polunsky identification badge. Cole's stomach dropped. It belonged to the person whose signature he'd seen in the file. The person tied to the experimental program. The person who should never have had access to inmates. Cole raised his weapon. Heller, don't move. But Heller didn't run. He smiled, cold, hollow, knowing. You're not here to stop me, he said. You're here because they sent you. Cole's breath caught. Who sent me? Heller stepped closer, voice low. The same people who created me. Thunder shook the sky. And then Heller said the words that shattered everything Cole thought he knew. Deputy, they never told you who your father worked for. The words hung in the air, heavy as the storm clouds above them. Cole felt the ground tilt beneath him, the cold settling into his bones. His father had died when Cole was 12, an officer, a good man, someone the department still spoke of with respect. But Heller's expression said otherwise. Rain dripped down the escaped inmate's face as he slowly lifted the stolen Polunsky badge, turning it between his fingers like a blade. Your father, Heller said, wasn't just a deputy.
He was part of the early program.
Level red wasn't new. It started decades ago. Officer Graves tried to sit up, clutching his wound. Don't listen to him, he gasped. Heller's manipulating you. But Cole knew a lie when he heard one. And Heller wasn't lying. His voice didn't waver, not once. What do you want from me? Cole demanded. Heller stepped closer, unbothered by the gun aimed at his chest. I want justice. The kind they don't teach you in the academy. The people who ran the program think they can bury everything. They used us like test subjects, broke us, then erased us.
He paused.
Your father tried to expose it. He didn't make it out. Cole's breath caught. Lightning illuminated the forest, And for a moment, he saw the truth reflected in Heller's eyes. Raw, jagged truth he didn't want to believe. "My father died in a car accident," Cole said quietly. Heller's smile didn't reach his eyes. "That's what they wanted you to think." A surge of anger pushed through Cole, but just as he took a step forward, a crack echoed through the woods. A gunshot. Sharp.
Close.
Graves' head snapped back. He collapsed, blood blooming across his uniform. Cole dove behind a fallen log, gun raised. Heller threw himself into the brush. Another shot tore bark from a nearby tree. This wasn't Heller's work. Someone else was out there. Someone who'd been watching them long before Cole arrived. A voice boomed through the storm, amplified by a megaphone. "Deputy Ramsey, step away from the inmate. You are interfering with a classified investigation." Cole recognized the voice instantly. Warden Charles Renner, head of Polunsky Unit. But something was wrong. The warden wasn't shouting commands like a man in control. His voice shook, driven by fear, not authority. Heller whispered from the darkness, "He's not here to arrest me. He's here to erase the last loose ends." Cole gritted his teeth. "You're saying he was part of the program?" "No," Heller said. "He ran it." Another crack thundered through the air as bullets whizzed past. Cole returned fire blindly, keeping Renner's men pinned behind the trees. "Ramsey," Renner shouted, "you have no idea what you've stepped into. Lower your weapon, and we'll make this disappear." Cole steadied his breathing. "That's the problem," he said, loud enough for the warden to hear. "I'm done letting things disappear." Silence. Then another shot, this one closer, purposeful. A scream followed. One of Renner's men collapsed. Cole wasn't the one who fired. Heller stepped into the clearing, holding his own gun now, taken off one of the guards during his escape. "This ends tonight," he said. Before Cole could stop him, Heller rushed Renner's position. A flurry of gunfire flashed through the trees. Cole sprinted after him, heart pounding. He found them near the cabin, Renner on the ground, Heller standing over him. The warden's breath rattled as he looked up at Cole. "Your father, he got too close. We tried to warn him. He didn't listen." Cole felt everything inside him twist. "Did you kill him?" Renner swallowed hard. "It was an order." Heller raised his gun, but Cole grabbed his arm. "No," he said. "We do this the right way." Heller stared at him, rain dripping from his hair.
Pain.
Fury.
Grief.
It was all there. Then he lowered the weapon. But Renner didn't. With a sudden lunge, the warden pulled a concealed pistol and fired. The shot hit Heller in the shoulder. Cole reacted on instinct, firing once. Renner slumped back, unmoving. For a long moment, the forest went still. Rain pounded the ground, washing blood into the soil. Heller collapsed to his knees, clutching his wound. You saved me."
Cole holstered his weapon. "No."
"I stopped him." Heller met his eyes. "Now you know the truth. What you do with it, that's on you." Sirens wailed in the distance, backup finally arriving. Cole stood, staring through the trees toward Polunsky Unit, its guard towers rising like dark sentinels against the storm. He knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The files, the lies, the buried program, someone was still out there. Someone who wanted it erased. As officers rushed into the clearing, Cole whispered to himself, "They think this story ends tonight. They're wrong." Because 3 weeks later, another file appeared on Cole's doorstep. No return address. No fingerprints. Just a single sentence on the first page. Level Red was only the beginning. And attached was a photo of another inmate, one who had vanished years before. The same experimental signature carved silently into the corner. If you think this story was intense, you're not ready for the next one, hit subscribe so you don't miss it.